played the Horizon Zero Dawn game yet, I'm here to tell you that you should definitely give it a try. I've managed to get 100% of the trophies in just 2 playthroughs, one on normal and the other on ultra hard, which is one of the trophies. And then I played it a third time because I wanted to finish getting the rest of the stuff, which you can do in the new game plus, where all your items from your first playthrough carries over. So I'm gonna start a normal campaign here, and whenever you first start out the game, you'll have to play through the childhood part, which it don't take very long. It just kind of shows you the controls pretty much, but the story is just amazing. I don't think the broadcast will allow me to show the story. I'm just going to show you a little bit of the gameplay. This is the very beginning of the game, so it's not like you're going to see anything crucial. The story has a few twists in it, so you know, if you're playing it your first time and you haven't heard anything about it, get ready for an awesome story, because the only problem that I would give that kind of relates to the story is the mouth movements and the facial expressions are kind of off. It just don't seem like the mouth movements go well with what they're actually saying and the tone of their voices.
Rost! Rost! Where is he? 2 days before the proving and he goes off without me? He wouldn't do that.
So you get a bunch of weapons. You make your own ammo as you go, so it's fairly decent to fairly difficult to run out of ammo while you're playing, but it can happen, especially if you use a lot of fire ammo and stuff like that. You got a skill page here. You got your inventory. It'll tell you, it'll give you exclamation points for new stuff. So anytime you get something new, it'll pop up here. Got a quest thing here. These are all weapon tutorials. You got your main quest, side quests, errands. That's where your main stuff will be. And then you got these little ones down here that you'll just kind of get those out of the way as you go along. You can craft stuff. You can add perks to your weapons. You can add perks to your armor. You can make traps and potions, which, let's be honest, you hardly use traps or potions. Maybe some health potions, that's about it. You can upgrade your carrying capacity. You can use this menu to make all your ammo. This is how you make all your unequipped ammo. Like if you switch between weapons. But if not, you can just craft it on this little scroll menu here. So you're going to start off with simple arrows.
He said we could.
And of course your melee attack.
Where's he gone to?
In this game you can go from level 1 to 60.
He's just standing there. What's going on with him?
It reminds me of Prince of Persia games where you do a lot of scaling and climbing.
When you...
Would you?
Of course.
There's descent. Once. Yeah.
I'll go.
Stop.
I've got what I need. plan to meet Ross to the something's really bothering him.
A lot of fun little zip lines. Here you can scavenge for your arrow shafts. As you can see, there's arrow shafts everywhere. You ain't gotta worry about running out of arrows.
That'll change after the proving. 2 days. 2 days until I get answers.
You got slides, rolls, fairly decent jumping.
Alright, time to gather the parts for some
And take fall damage.
I should find a herd.
There's grass you can hide in. The swimming's kind of awkward, but you never actually really use the swimming other than to get across water. Maybe in a sequel they'll update the swimming. You have a little electronic device. It allows you to see things from distances. You can kind of see things through stuff. It just kind of shows you things that you wouldn't normally be able to see. Oh. Well, there's me dying with fall damage. This game is really easy to compare to a lot of other games.
Something's really bothering him.
Like, it reminds me, the leveling up system reminds me of Borderlands. The wall scaling reminds me of Prince of Persia. The weapons remind me of Ratchet and Clank. I mean, it's like every good game you could think of mashed into one.
That'll change after
The landscape reminds me of Skyrim.
2 days and I'll know who she was. And why I was
Oh.
cast out at birth. As if there could be no excuse.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to go into the towns yet.
Gather the parts for some fire arrows. I should find a herd.
The game saves awesome. Excuse me, the game saves often. So you don't have to worry about if you die, then you get set back a long ways. You don't have to worry about that. I'm gonna do a simple scale here. Little geese flying away. The wall scaling can seem slow at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's like, it's not a very time-consuming part of the game, so you don't have to worry about all that. Once you get the hang of it, you just kind of just get through it. And we made it to the top of that one, and that one's actually a fairly long one. It's not the longest, but you can shoot the animals here. You can get some slow-mo action going sometimes. Some of the perks will upgrade that. There was something up here, but I didn't start the mission, so... Cool rappel downs. It's kind of unrealistic, but it's still kind of cool.
Easy, easy.
Here we got a few enemies up here. Just the basic enemies, probably take one hit. Try to do a little sneak action here. Nope, they've seen me. It's full on fight mode now. If you use your device, you can see weak points on the enemies. This little yellow spot here is usually a good weak point. And of course you can loot your enemies. All the robotic enemies have similar designs. You got like cattle, and then you got stuff that's more like dinosaurs and giant cats. There's plenty of animals to shoot.
You have.
I did.
You will.
Wait. Still.
Good night.
Carcass. What sort of beast was that?
Tribe calls it a sawtooth. Follow the path. It's not far.
That cabin. What happened to it?
A machine. That's why.
Oh, watch
Eventually
your
you get to
I'll harvest
enemies that fly and all kinds of stuff. They all have their weaknesses, so once you figure them out, it's nothing too hard. Some enemies have weapons that you can actually use.
It won't be much farther.
Why are we the only ones out here?
If you get these
Why can't the
tear
Talisman
blast
use this machine?
arrows, you can use those to blast cannons off of these ones that are kind of like the ones I'm about to fight, except for they have cannons.
I should stay out of sight. I can use
Screw staying out of sight. We're gonna beat. I guess we're gonna do some stealth here. You can throw rocks to lure them, or you can whistle and they'll come straight to you. But depending on your difficulty, they'll spot you if they have a yellow icon above them, and you try to whistle, they'll spot you. And then if you discover a new machine, you can go to your machine catalog, and it'll tell you what all their weaknesses are and what kind of loot you can get from them. This one, of course, has the blaze container underneath it, so it's kind of harder to get to. Later in the game, you'll unlock this bad boy. Took down a tree there. That was a little stealth strike there. He's kind of too strong for a stealth strike to kill him in one hit. Breaking rocks, all kinds of stuff. Look at that. Okay. We're gonna hit him right here on this. Let's use these fire arrows. Show you what the fire arrows does to this. Well, I must not have hit it dead on. Got him on lockdown here. See if that'll blow up this time. There we go. Shoot a blaze container. Get an explosion. Anyway, that's about as far as I'm going to show you there.
Why did I bring you here? Dawn has passed. This will be
I'll see you.
you.
So the gameplay, really awesome. You got little health things you can pick up here. Just an all-around good game, you know. The map is pretty decent size. Eventually you can control some of the machines, and you can actually ride the ones that are more like cattle. But you have a whole map to explore. You have jungle, desert, icelands. This is part of the DLC right here. It kind of like cuts off right there if you don't have the DLC. The DLC story, it's not as good, but still pretty decent. Fun to play. New monsters to learn how to fight. Once you find a weakness for all the monsters, it's fairly easy. But the first time you fight something, it's not so easy. So if you haven't got this game, I would highly recommend it. You also have bandits to fight, so you'll fight people along the way too. Sometimes you'll have people fight with you. Sometimes you'll run across random story, like side missions and stuff. It don't take too long to play through the main story, but if you take your time, you can get a lot of hours in. There's a lot of hidden items you can look for. You got metal flowers, little Banuk artifacts, vantage points you can climb up and see stuff from the past. It's crazy. This game's set in the future where the world has ended and kind of restarted, but I'll let you figure out how all that goes about. But yeah, give this game a try if you haven't tried it already.